welcome to Food for Life this week. We have an amazing guest from one of the largest dining programs in the country, from some of the amazing colleges. Their food is out of this world. And I attended their culinary conference virtually this past summer. Yeah, June. I guess we would consider that summertime, right? So Andrew is the director of operations for them. He's going to come in and tell us a little more about what they do and how they source their ingredients and how they have such satisfaction from the students. Can you imagine having like 80-something% satisfaction from your students about the food that you give? Do you remember what the food was like in college? I don't think it was that good. So let's find out. All right. Hi, Andrew, and thank you for joining us.
Hi, thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Yes. So tell us about yourself and how did you come to work for UMass? How long have you been there? All the important details we need to know.
Yeah, so I've always worked within the food service industry. I actually started my career off as the food and beverage manager at Six Flags New England. So I was fortunate enough back in 2010 to accept a role as a dining commons manager at UMass Amherst. And honestly, at that time, I didn't realize how big of an industry food and beverage is, specifically in the CNU industry, college university industry. And it's just obviously, continuing to grow. It's a $20 billion industry, food and beverage industry.
Oh, wow.
that really, unless you're really in it, you really don't think about it. And I certainly did not. And it was already kind of an up and coming program. And I was fortunate enough to jump on there really right at the right time and continue to ride that wave.
So your official title is the Director of Operations for Residential Dining at UMass. That is a mouthful.
It's a
What
mouthful.
are your main responsibilities? Because I had to write it down because I wanted to make sure I got it right when I said it.
Yeah, you got it right. Honestly, I rarely get it wrong, or I rarely get it right. So I usually just say director of operations. But yeah, so I'm responsible for the overall success and day-to-day operations of residential dining. So residential dining at UMass, it's kind of changed and morphed over the last couple of years. But generally speaking, residential dining, we have 4 all-you-care-to-eat dining facilities on campus, right? So these are students who honor meal plans. We offer unlimited meal plans, so they can come in 10, 20 times a day. They can come in and grab an apple. They could come in and sit for full meals. So those offer, continuous service from 7 a.m. all the way to midnight. We have 4 of those. And then I also oversee roughly 30 of the cafes that are also on campus. So that is considered retail dining, but they do fall under residential. We also have a restaurant on campus. We have 2 food trucks, concessions. All those fall under me in terms of operation. And really, I'm there to just provide leadership, develop strategies, really to deliver high quality dining experiences and excellent customer service to university faculty, staff, campus visitors, and obviously our large population of students.
Wow, I mean, UMass, all their campuses are pretty big. So, I mean, that's a lot of people you're serving every single day. So the fact that your students have such an appreciation for what you're doing,
Yep.
is like, have you always had like a love of food? I mean, I know you've been in the food industry, and I've had food jobs from the first job I had working concessions at a movie theater all the way up until I started my business. It seems like you have an appreciation for good food.
Well, so we're a very mission-driven organization, right? And we're here to service our students. I don't know if I've always had an appreciation for good food. I've always had appreciation for food, to be honest. And and I am not a chef by trade. I did, when I was a kid, enjoy being in the kitchen, cooking things, trying different things. I really gotta say, probably didn't really start appreciating food until I came to UMass. just strictly due to the fact of what a diverse menu there is. I mean, there were certain things that I've never tried before until I worked at UMass. So just a lot of global influences with an extremely diverse staff. And I think that's almost really what I appreciate about, UMass, and I appreciate about, working here is our staff, or they're just so passionate about it. And, you know, I really appreciate somebody cooking something very authentic, maybe that, a parent, used to make for them, and they're bringing it to me. And I just kind of like to share that shared table kind of experience of somebody bringing me something new. So I'd probably have to say it was here. Um, Other than that, I still will go on that I probably shouldn't be inside a kitchen too much. I'll let our excellent staff take care of that. So
Well, as long as you don't burn down a kitchen, you're all set.
yes, I have put a few fires out, not here, but I have that under my repertoire.
Oh dear. I was kidding, but I didn't realize, yeah, occasionally things happen. Now, that's a big responsibility, having to staff food trucks and events and concessions, because I know that there is it's the Mullen Center that's
Mullen Center, yep, correct.
on campus, and any like events that they have and anything like those are a lot of places, like all those dining halls and things. I think we had one dining hall and maybe two cafes and a few like little random places, because my campus I went to was small. It wasn't as big as the students you service. And you're talking about all this variety. How do you like determine what kind of variety you guys have? Like, is it from where your students are from or where your chefs are from?
I mean, it's a little bit of everything. I mean, we are student centric here, and our students will tell us if we miss the mark on something, and that's okay. And I think it's kind of that's a little bit what's different about CNU, dining as well. The industry is, it's competitive in nature when we talk to our, sister institutions, or or somebody out in California, but it's competitive in a good way. We always bring the bar up because we always want to know what somebody, a top, dining program in the nation's doing. Um, but at least food culture in terms of, at UMass, we really try to we have, 7 or 8, kind of core things that we always think about. It's always, sustainability, socially responsible, modern eating. So, what does that look like? It's not the days, when we went to college, where you're running a tray down a line and you're being scooped something. Right? It's snacking. It's a lot of just-in-time cooking, customization. And then, for us specifically, here at UMass, we really look at those global influences. We have a very diverse population of students. Quality ingredients are important to us. Authenticity is important to us as well. So if we are going to do a specific dish from, South India, we really want to make sure that it's authentic. So we'll ask students, we'll ask staff, we'll make sure we want to get it right. And then kind of the last, aspect about it is really health and wellness as well.
I like that you guys are trying to make it authentic. I'm sure if you ask a bunch of people, it's like the Italians. You ask a bunch of people how to make the same dish, they all come up with 10 different recipes. So do you guys kind of merge into your own version of that to kind of help you guys get that? If you
Yeah.
ask 10 different Italians how to make ravioli, you're going to get 10 different answers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And you know what? We might have 10 different raviolis, right? Too. So,
Yeah.
and sometimes that happens, and that's okay. I think, just once again, so as long as, you're being, true to the recipe, you're trying to be authentic, and then you're open to feedback as well, I think is absolutely critical. We just had a Black History Month celebration last week in the campus center auditorium, and you know we bring in sometimes special guest chefs. So we'll bring in special guest chef who, if we think it's out of the realm or we can't make it truly authentic, we will bring somebody in that can hit those marks because that's how important that food culture aspect is here. And it's not just a UMass dining thing; it is a university thing. It's truly a part of the complete campus life experience.
That's good to hear that you can find chefs that show authenticity and all kinds of really amazing things. I have noticed that, like, I was looking at your Instagram and your social media last night to make sure that I had like all the right questions to ask you. And I did notice you guys put together a cute little like Valentine's Day menu for the students, and like we're offering it in certain places.
Oh yeah, I mean we offer over 50 special event type, special menus and things like that over the course of a semester. So it could be a Valentine's Day. We even do something for the Super Bowl. You name it. We work with larger organizations that'll come in, and we'll even we have test kitchens. So
Mhm.
companies like Nestle could come in and they could you know maybe sponsor a night, and we sample their product so they could see, once again, this very large industry here that we're dealing with. We serve over 50,000 meals a day. you know Test pilot some of their products that, once again, fit within our mission, fit within our food culture.
That's pretty amazing that you can do that. And I mean, like a company like Nestle, that would be perfect for your Valentine's Day dessert. Have them come in and do things and share things. And not only that, like UMass hospitality too. I saw that you guys now can offer weddings on campus and you now cater things because your food is so good.
Yeah, we do. I mean, we have, within auxiliary, here at UMass, we have, hospitality, we have a catering department. And, I'm just not saying this because I'm biased, but it's truly a hidden gem. I mean, and there's facilities across campus that make sense anywhere from, a 300-person wedding to a nice, intimate 40-person wedding. So we do offer all of that. And of course, it's funny because when you get married, you always want to spend money on the photography, the photographer, because the photos last forever. But I'll tell you where I got married, I remember the food. Usually you don't, right? Because that's it's
No,
not a memorable experience usually. So I could
unless it's
guarantee,
really bad, then usually people remember it.
yeah, I could guarantee if you came to UMass for a wedding, you would certainly remember the food. That's for sure.
Well, that's a ringing endorsement. Now, you guys have talked about how like you're having this really big focus on authenticity and where things are sourced and nutrition. So, your program focuses on these culinary principles and cultures. And how do you decide like where to get stuff and what's your main focus? And you're looking at local supplies for such a big place, like a big program. How do you guys all decide that?
You know, we have what's nice about it is we have certainly created, you know, so it's easy to say, a little bit easier to say now, right? Where, I mean, we're the largest self-operated dining program in the country. We've been rated number one 5 years in a row by Princeton Review, and that's voted on by students. So now
Yeah.
there's a lot, obviously, that want to come and work with us. But we really try to stay true to form. Um, we have over 100 local vendors. Sometimes obviously we can't get things locally, and of
Mhm.
course when students are here is the most difficult time, obviously, for us to source some of those local things. But we do also have permaculture gardens on campus. But you know we look at the locally sourced. So where are we at on that? We did the Real Food Challenge, and
Mhm.
which was due back in 2020, that we exceeded. So we're looking at 100% pasture raised eggs, 100% fair trade bananas.
Oh, wow.
74% of our produce is local, fair trade, and or organic. A lot of the local farmers that we work with might be organic, but honestly, quite frankly, it's unfortunate they can't afford to pay for certain certifications and things like that. But we know,
Right.
we go and visit their farms, and we know exactly what we're getting. So, it's a mission of UMass as part of our UMass and, agricultural, school roots here. And then we're connected to a lot of different organizations. Um, you know, Farm Institute New England's one. That's a collaborative group. Once again, CNU is very collaborative. So, these are nonprofit, public, private entities working together with the one goal is to increase, local food served in our schools and things like that. And then there's other, things out there like New England Food Vision. That's kind of a
Mhm.
goal, and those are things that I look at too. Is I look at if we can try to source something locally and it makes sense and they have good quality product that fits our culture, then why not give it a shot? And we also do have a student farm as well on campus that we receive some things from.
Well, that's great. I mean, having an actual farm where people can see where it starts to how it ends up on the plate. You were saying about how, you source stuff locally and the farmers and how they do stuff. And it's so true. We had Claire from CISA on
Hmm.
at the beginning of the season, and we talked about that, about how you may actually be eating organic produce, but you don't actually know because these smaller farms can't get certified, which I
Yeah,
think it's a shame that they can't go through such a process because it's so expensive.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And what we even like to do, at UMass is, we tag everything, right? So if
Mhm.
something's local, we'll say where it's from, and we'll even have, local farmer weeks where we'll have 3 or 4, farmers here within a location, so students can, maybe grab an apple from the orchard and, actually talk to, the farm, someone from the farm where it came from. So
Kind of like a little farmer's market in the
yeah,
campus.
absolutely, it is.
Now, you guys run events and you talked about food trucks. Like, how do you do that? Like, how do you determine what your food trucks are? Or these food trucks are around the area where you are and they just come on campus?
No, we have 2 food trucks on campus. Um, and those usually, tend to kind of go and support, those are some of our, part of our retail dining. So those are
Mhm.
really, meant for kind of added value to a student's meal plan. So they have, dining dollars and things like that they can use on their, on those, various areas like the food trucks. So, same thing, food truck, always very popular, pre-hockey and basketball games, things like that. Um, spots for quick lunch, and of course, the food trucks are very popular at late night on campus.
I can only imagine something quick, something like right there in front of the dorms. I got to imagine they do quite well.
Yeah,
I love that you guys are supporting local and trying to get that, and you're getting the kids involved. I do remember you and I having a conversation a while back about how you have kids that work for you in the dining halls. How does that work? Is this work study or is this just like a program? Like, do they want to get involved in food service or the agriculture program?
yeah. So they're usually actually not work studies. So dining service is the largest student job employer on campus. We hire roughly 1,000 students to
Oh
come
wow.
work for us, and really, it varies. I mean, it could be someone that is going to work as a barista, maybe a cashier. Maybe they want to learn a little bit more culinary skills. So we'll put them in the kitchen. We'll put them in prep rooms. Um, and then we even have front of house, uh, server positions, and then all the way up to, student supervisors. We have students that work for, a couple of years for us. They're running shifts. They're running, smaller cafe locations. That's one aspect. We also do have student ambassador programs. So these are kind of we have about 30 students that are basically secret shoppers for us. So
Secret
they're in there, they're emailing us their comments, and then they have, special projects to help kind of peer mentor, other students. So they're, we're required to do things like educational videos, to
chef.
incoming, first year students, help them get maybe acclimated to dining. So, but yeah, I mean, students are really is our sole purpose of being there, right? Like, so, you know in the corporate world, we have corporate offices, we have boards, we have,
Yeah.
that we report to. I always say here, especially in a self-operated dining model, the students are our boss. Like, we take their feedback, critically, because, we're doing something right by them. We actually survey students every year, and when we do that, in the last survey we did, 88% of students believe that UMass dining contributes positively to their personal well-being, and
Oh, wow.
80%, yeah, and 80% believe that their experience at UMass will influence their food purchasing decisions in the future. So we are educators in food, so we have to make sure that what we're serving a well balanced, healthy options, because 88 out of 10 students are saying, what you're teaching me right now while I'm at school eating, I'm taking that with me. And if you're not having a good college dining experience out there, you could be obviously bringing some bad habits, into your life afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, they make those jokes about like, gaining the freshman 15 and like, because the food is not good or the habits that you learn. And that's why all that happens. And it's because you're not eating well or because you get into bad habits. And if you can start people young, I find with my cooking classes, I teach kids young to start having an appreciation for food. And then when I get to the older kids, if they've never had that appreciation or they've never learned, they seem to be a little grumpier about it. But if you start showing them the way, then after they may actually be able to pick their purchases a little better and learn some things. I also know that you guys bring in, like, have events for the kids. Like, you guys do series of like chefs or lectures. You bring in all kinds of things for them.
We do. I mean, and we also do some of those things internally as well, because we obviously have, some highly skilled, executive chefs, culinary, director of culinary excellence. We have, pastry chefs. So we'll even do, cooking 101 classes with students, baking 101 classes with students. Um, so yeah, I mean, we are an institution, obviously. So it really, it's remarkable. If anybody really wants to learn something, they could, we hire them on, we teach them, and then they're running shifts in 2 years for us. So it's critical, and it helps us out always in the long run, because we have this very large labor pool just right here for us.
Well, it's actual job experience that they can actually put on a resume going forward. That isn't just something. I mean, that's business experience. That's, culinary experience if that's the way they want to go, or that's management skills, all the things that you need to get a job that when you go into the real world, you don't actually have.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
And they get to eat good food in the process.
And you get to
Now,
eat food. Yes.
the important part is eating the food. Now, do you have any projects that you spearheaded when you came on, or were you just there to implement everything they had? Is there anything like that you loved that you brought from other jobs or other things?
I mean, I'm as a director of ops, I got my hands into obviously, a lot of different things. I think me personally, I'm always, looking to, improve processes, um, create some, operational efficiency. Um, I helped spearhead and bring on a company called Lean Path, which um, weighs food waste, so we can monitor food waste. I'd say probably the largest thing that I spearheaded was actually I took 3 years off, away from UMass, and I went to Westfield State as the director of dining over there. They turned self-opt, actually, from the grant from the Kendall Foundation, to turn that into a more farm to fork type kind of an institution. So
Mhm.
um, Westfield State actually, consulted with UMass on that. So I went there, for three years, to kind of put a little of UMass into Westfield State. So I think that was probably my largest. And we did some amazing things there. They continue to do some amazing things as well at Westfield State. And a big part of it was absolutely looking at that that food culture and local and sustainable practices was important because especially in Westfield too, they have a lot of great farms right in their vicinity as does Amherst.
Yeah.
So that's I would probably say that would be it.
It's actually really nice that you guys are sharing with other local colleges and universities what you know with other people to help them improve campus life for students. Especially now where, kids have a different way of going to college. Everything isn't quite the same as it used to be. So, but then when they eat, that is their socializing time sometimes.
It is actually outside of their residence halls, students spend their most time with us eating and dining, right? I mean, it's actually just the truth. We see them more than when they're in class. So
Oh, wow.
you're absolutely right. I mean, it's socializing. So it's that food culture is just a critical, and it's one of the more it's one of the largest reasons why someone will they'll look at academics. Does the academics fit for me? And they want to know what about the food and where am I living? Right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's the truth. That's what they look at. So
Or sports if they're a sports.
absolutely.
So yeah, I mean that's true. Like you want to know where you're eating, especially if you're away from home. You want something that's going to be comforting to you. Now, do you have any events or like food that you've tried over the years that you were like, this is the most amazing thing I've ever had. I can't believe I've never been eating South African food or I've never been eating Ethiopian. Like, is there something that you've had that you just can't believe you never tried?
It's funny because it's not even like a special event. It's just something almost every day that our executive chef, works on putting on the menu. I'd say I do know a student favorite is our flavors of Canada. So we'll actually have,
Of
um,
Canada?
oh yeah, a couple apps. I know it's awesome, but it's just overall like just a huge experience. Um, they'll bring chefs down from a couple of colleges and universities in Canada. We'll do ice sculpting, with them. Um, so those are always fun. We also sometimes do, culinary competitions. So we'll have,
Mhm.
like a student, group or a staff-led group from each, dining location that'll compete with, specific, products that we're using or, from a different company. So those are always fun. I really got to say, it, it's not even about a special event. It's that authenticity, right? So, if I'm
Mhm.
getting a Korean dish, from a staff, member, it's on the menu. Um, but they're telling me this is off. You got to try this. This is how I used to eat it as a kid. That's almost an everyday, experience. We also do we serve, pizza and French fries like that too.
Oh yeah.
Um, but I work here every day. I gotta watch, watch myself and make sure that I'm actively choosing the the right things that work best for my body as well. So
Well, that's where those nutritional options come in.
yeah,
Now, you talk about nutrition and you also talk about that you're getting local, but you also talked about how you guys are becoming more plant forward with your menus and how you want to do that going forward.
yeah. I mean, we've been once again that's being plant forward. We've been doing that now for quite some time. But we've seen a rise. So we kind of led the charge there.
Mm-hmm.
However, student feedback is telling us, more than ever that they want more plant forward in their diets. We've actually seen a lot of, a large decline in beef consumption, a rise in that plant forward diet. And we've also seen, a large increase in whole grain consumption, chicken and even seafood consumption in our students. So
Oh, wow.
more than ever, of the last, 5, plus years, students really want to know where their food's coming from, um, is it healthy, what, all these things. They're they're fascinated, and they want to know more. And then when we tell them something could be a little bit more healthier, or something, they continue to push it. So um we offer on any daily basis, we'll have probably 2 dozen type plant forward items in one location,
Oh, wow.
including obviously, even including whole stations dedicated to, in some of our locations, dedicated to just plant forward diets.
And those, I gotta imagine now that they're so available, those plant forward meats like the Impossible and the Incognito and like all that stuff people have been using. I find it interesting that now it's more the younger demographic that wants it more than the older demographic.
Yeah, and I think that
So
it's
that must
just
be quite
because
popular.
I think it's just because there's more available, right? I mean, 10 years ago, there really wasn't much available. And to be honest, my wife was a vegetarian for years. And, I
Yeah.
did the cooking, and options were certainly limited. And, even before my time, at UMass, I didn't really completely understand what a plant forward diet, looked like. And I didn't
Mm-hmm.
understand it's not just about, those meat substitutes. It's about beans and legumes and things like that. So um, and when a student at UMass, they're being conditioned to have all these sorts of different options, now available, and not just at UMass. I mean, plant forward, especially within college and university dining, is absolutely on the increase. And I'm telling you, it's on the increase because students are telling us that's what they want. So
I think it's on the increase in a lot of homes these days, and I think it's more of an, like you said, everyone's getting more educated about what they eat, what they put in their body, especially
mhm.
after the last few years. I think after everyone ate all the junk food they wanted for a while, now everyone's like, oh yeah, I still need to be healthy, and I need to really remember what it's like to what goes in my body keeps me healthy.
Yeah,
Even the kids are thinking that. Now,
exactly.
you have one of your biggest events coming up soon, and this
Yeah.
is really fun. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so we have our 11th annual UMass Dash and Dine 5K. The benefits from that day, from the signups, go to the Amherst Survival Center. It's on Saturday, April 9th. It starts at 9 a.m. and you can go to runumass.com to sign up. It's $20 for the
Right
public.
here on the screen, people.
It's beautifully put right here on the screen. And honestly, so it's it's a fun run. I mean, there's obviously students and folks that take it very serious. I obviously do it because you get to eat afterwards. So you get to run your 5K, and then you obviously get to join for join us for lunch afterwards in Berkshire Dining Hall, and experience the number one top rated food in the country. So I mean, and you eat a lot because you just ran a 5K. So, and it's quite all right.
And it's a run walk, so you can walk
Yeah.
it. So if I do this, I will definitely walk it because my knees can't take running on pavement anymore. But you can take out the family or alumni. There is a fun run for the kids, if I remember right,
There
too.
is a fun run for the kids as well. Absolutely.
So it's a family affair. Come out, enjoy a good cause. Then you get a reward. You get to eat at the end. I mean, how could that be a bad
It's not, it is a great day. So
day? Now, is there anything else about like anything upcoming events you want to share with us, or is there anything really cool you guys have coming up that you want to tell us about, or that you can tell us about?
yeah, I mean, I'll just mention, because you mentioned as well, you joined us virtually last year for the UMass Chef Culinary Conference. So if there's, anybody out there, that's watching and listening, you know, that's the 28th annual this year for us. It's being
Oh,
held
wow.
June 5th through June 10th. And, you know, it's for, operators, so front of house, all the way to, maybe someone just getting into industry and in the kitchen, all the way up. And it's a great event. It's a great networking event. We have, colleges, you know, and non-college, obviously, attendees attend from all over the country, including Canada. So it's also just a great networking event as well. And that you can find more information. It's at chefculinaryconference.com as well.
I checked the site, the website you sent me. It still has information from last year. The new information isn't up yet. So
yeah, so probably within a couple weeks. Yeah.
It was interesting. We did it virtually last year. I think that was the first virtual conference I've attended. So it was a different experience.
It's different, obviously, online, because it is a very hands-on, conference. We'll have some top name chefs, come and do, either some conversations, or they'll even do some cooking demos and things like that. So it is definitely a great conference to attend in person.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this year we'll get to do that.
Yes.
So thank Andrew for coming, everyone. He gave us some great information. And did you hear him about UMass's award? Do you want to say that again about the award you guys got?
We are top rated by Princeton Review 5 years in a row. They took this last year off, so of voting. Yeah. So next year we'll hopefully continue on.
That right there is like a seal of approval to come do the Run UMass to benefit the Survival Center. You get to try the food. That's what you guys all like. I know it. I can see it. So Andrew, thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate your time and hearing about the program. And hopefully maybe some potential students will want to check you guys out just from hearing you talk about all that good food you're serving.
Yes, thank you very much. Please stop by. We're welcome to have you, and we look forward to having you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thanks, you too.
All right, everyone, here it is, Run UMass. So go sign up, get it in. It's April 9th, and it'll be a fun day for the whole family. Now, after these messages from one of our sponsors, I will be back. As I promised, it is still chocolate month. It is still February. So we are going to be making my go-to brownie recipe and a balsamic chocolate syrup to go over some roasted carrots. Don't miss it. And we are back. Like I said before, it's still chocolate month here on Food for Life. Now, I'm going to start today with a savory chocolate recipe, and then we'll go to the dessert. Now, I have a pot heating up here. I'm going to put in a half a cup of balsamic vinegar. Now, make sure you use an aged balsamic, because an aged balsamic will already be thick and it'll go down really nicely. Like some of the thinner ones you get in the store are not necessarily the best balsamic. They're too thin. A good balsamic will be nice and thick and almost dripping like syrup. Those are the kind of balsamics you want to look. And you want to make sure it's super opaque. So we're going to cook this down on medium heat until it reduces by half. Now we'll let that simmer back there. And we will start our lovely, can we see? Did I turn this well enough for us? For the food cam? All right, perfect. We are gonna start my go-to brownie recipe. Here's the thing, this recipe is tried and true. They're gluten-free, they're fabulous, and I have them by memory, people. By memory, I've made them so many times. Now I'm gonna melt some coconut oil while we have everything going. All right, let's see if you guys can still hear me. All right, perfect. So we're gonna melt coconut oil down. Make sure you get the refined kind. You can buy coconut oil that's already melted, but you want to start from the solid form because that makes it the best. I'm gonna lower that just a little because we don't want it to burn. All right, so I have 2 cups here of flour, but the trick here is that you do 1 3/4 cup of gluten-free flour, like whatever your all-purpose mix is. And then you can either add anything from 1/4 cup of almond flour, which I like the almond flour because it gives it a nuttier taste and it has a like chewier fudgy texture. Or you can use the oat flour. Either way, you're getting more fiber in your diet, and that's what we definitely want. Now I have a pinch of salt in here. Does anybody remember why we do the salt? Salt brings out sweet. Oh, and there we go. 30 more seconds. All right, so we're putting in some baking powder and some salt. Oop, there we go. And I have cacao powder. Cacao powder is the unrefined version of cocoa powder. So make sure that you put this in and you measure it out perfectly. Remember, we want to even it out and never put our scoop directly into anything powdered because it packs down anything you're making. And then that's how you get denser, drier cakes. Okay. I hear you, you noisy. Now, you guys like me, everything in your house has an alarm for some reason or another. Like the fridge, when I don't close it all the way, has a thing. All right, we gotta do this. Starting to reduce. I'm gonna lower this just because it's starting to. Now, here's a trick since we have the vinegar going on the back for our carrots. Do not ever stand over a pot of hot vinegar. It goes straight up into your sinuses. It's never healthy. So we're going to let this reduce some more. Yeah, you'll get a whiffle, ooh, right up the nose. Not pleasant. All right, we're going to start mixing this all together. You want to make sure it's fully incorporated. And the way you know it's fully incorporated is that you'll see the cocoa powder throughout, or well, the cacao powder. Also has more fiber and isn't as alkaline and isn't nearly as processed as regular cocoa powder. All righty. Do we all see? There we go. All right. So I have 1 cup of coconut sugar here. Now, I love coconut sugar. It's more of a natural, sustainable sugar, which we were talking about locally sourced and sustainability. Now, coconut sugar is actually sustainable, which is good for the environment. I also like this recipe because it is a 1 bowl recipe. No mixer, no anything. As you know from some of the other recipes I've made before, I am a pro at anything that involves me having to put it in 1 bowl. All right, hang on, I gotta check on our vinegar. All right, as you can see, all right, because it's steamy, I'm not sure you guys will be able to see it really well. It's starting, whew, I got some of that steam when I turned it. That's starting to thicken up, as you can see, glazing the pot. It's almost reduced by half, and then we're gonna add in our chocolate. The chocolate gives it a rich depth of flavor, almost that umami flavor that we always have. Now, here's the fun part. I'm gonna watch this, get a spoon for it. Alrighty, got a spoon. We don't want it to burn, so we're gonna, oh, yep, it's definitely reduced by half. Now I'm gonna take this off the heat. I have a tablespoon of honey, because we want it to sweeten up. Turn off the heat. Normally I put oil in this to get honey out. So if you're ever using peanut butter or nut butter and honey or anything sticky, you can always spray it with cooking spray. And now I have 1 ounce of dark chocolate I'm going to add in. Now you want to take it off the heat and you want to keep stirring until it officially melts in. It should take no more than 30-40 seconds. Yeah, there you go. It's turning this rich, beautiful caramely color. That richness is just like no other. And there is a pinch of salt in here as well. Now this syrup, it needs to incorporate really well, so I'm going to take it off the heat and we're going to just keep mixing it in. Oh, that chocolate balsamic. I suppose you could buy a chocolate balsamic instead of make it, but if you have all the elements, why not make it together? All right. We're going to just keep whisking everything together until everything is melted. Oh yeah, there we go. That's beautiful. Just enough, like as you can see, here we are. You can see that right across the back of the spoon. Now that is something beautiful. Oh yeah, just about fully incorporated everything. Nice, thick, shiny, glossy sauce. Ooh, baby. All right, so I just have some baby carrots that I cooked up. I'm going to get a beautiful tray. I have a nice plate over here. Off to the side. Wanted to get it out of the way. Didn't want to knock it over. Oh. I don't know about you, but if you have too many things in the way, I always end up knocking stuff over. All right, so we have some beautiful roasted carrots that I'm going to put right here on our plate. Nice big pile of them. All right, I'm going to get them in a nice little pile in the middle. Let's see if I can do that. And we're going to spoon some lovely sauce over the top, and then we'll finish our brownies. There we go. Oh, yes. Now, I roasted the carrots with just a little salt and pepper. Oh, yes. Oh. Now, tell me if that isn't a side dish worth chocolate. No? What do we think? That's a chocolate side dish for sure. All right, I'm going to taste one. Oh, so good. Sweet but tangy. Oh, amazing. All right, so now I have my coconut oil. I have 1 cup of almond milk or cashew milk or whatever alternative milk you have. Like, I also have vanilla. And all you gotta do is mix it in. Just so you know, these are vegan as well. So we're gonna just mix it in so you get a nice thick thing. Now, this is the basic recipe. You can mix in any sort of version of, if you like nuts, you can mix in chopped nuts. If you want to add in a little more chocolate, you can do the coconut sugar chocolate chunks. Now make sure you get to the bottom though, because if you don't and then there's floury chunks, we don't want that. So make sure it's well incorporated. Now you're going to bake these on 350 for about 28 to 30 minutes until they're nice and fudgy and cracked in the middle. On the plus side, if they're just a little fudgy in the middle, it's okay. These are so good hot. Yeah, see, it's going to be a nice thick batter. So what do we say? Do we say nuts or do we say extra chocolate chips? Do we say, what do you say? Vote. Yes, no, maybe more, less? All right, I'll let you take your time while I get another carrot. I'm so in love with these carrots. Don't mind me chewing. Okay. And more chocolate wins the day. My chocolate's over here. All right. So my favorite chocolate, you guys know I've showed this before. Can you guys see it? Oh, there we go. It's the Hue Kitchen. These are their new semi-sweet baking chocolate chips. They're amazing. They're sweetened with date syrup. So they aren't actually made with coconut sugar. So that's good. They also have the coconut sugar like snacking gems. I love those in my baking as well. So we're gonna put in a little bit of these. Probably about a quarter to half a cup because this is already chocolatey. I wouldn't put in more than that. All right, gotta test. It's always important that we test our food and we try them very well. All right. And no one DM me that Valentine's Day is over. I know it is, but I thought it was cute to leave up for the rest of February. We are still making chocolate recipes. Alrighty. Just spread this out on I got a 9x9 baking dish. Now this recipe is on the Bella Foodie blog, so if you want to go to bellafoodie.net and go to our blog, this recipe is on here as our gluten-free brownies. This is my go-to recipe anytime I want something chocolatey or easy. It's perfect for the kids. It's one of the easiest things you'll ever make. So we smooth it out in a greased pan and in we go. Perfect, nice, smooth. Get it as smooth as possible because the top sometimes gets a little craggy. All right, in we go. Say goodbye. All right. 350 for about 25 to 30 minutes, and you'll have dessert. It's a wonderful treat for the kids. It's good for you, and at least you know you're eating something healthy. Now, let's talk about next week. I am so excited. Our friends from Fogbuster Coffee are going to be on. Oh, gotta turn it that way. And they are going to be sharing their story and their coffee. It's going to be a great show. Now, I will post, as always, to my Instagram stories about what I made. You'll get to see the pictures and the carrots and all the good stuff. And then you can go to the Bella Foodie blog in another day or two, and you'll get to see the recipes up there. The brownies are up there tonight, so you can go straight there and search it because the brownies are definitely there. All right, everyone have a good week. I hope you had an amazing Valentine's Day, and I hope to see everyone next week. All right, let's see.